From Magic Kingdom's Cars Land and Villains Land to the 4 ongoing projects at Hollywood Studios, to Encanto and Indiana Jones at Animal Kingdom, and a new deluxe resort. There's a lot happening at Walt Disney World at the moment, but is that all? I personally don't think so. I think there is a chance we're going to get a few additional projects added to the list because sometimes there's just too much smoke not to be a fire, and some ideas just make sense from a theme park perspective and knowing how the Disney parks operate. If the budget allows for it, of course. I always want to include that caveat because there are many times when projects and plans are actually being worked on and even designed, but then something changes. But even so, here probably at Disney, we are going to dive into the whole range of rumored Disney World projects that still have a chance of getting the green light in the coming years. So grab yourself a Main Street Starbucks with a shot of optimism, and let's explore what else might be coming to the most magical place on Earth. And we're going to start with rumored project number 1, and that is another Magic Kingdom resort. This is a rumor that has been circulating for, I want to say, a few years now. And yes, I know Lakeshore Lodge, which is opening in 2027, is technically a Magic Kingdom resort. But there are reasons why Disney may be eyeing another property within this vicinity. First of all, Magic Kingdom will be drawing more attention and their hope higher attendance once Cars and Villains Land opens. And as usual, when this kind of expansion takes place, Disney is going to want to increase resort capacity near the park that's the new big draw. Lakeshore Lodge, however, does not have the same kind of Magic Kingdom access than the resorts around the Seven Seas Lagoon. And Disney reportedly was intrigued by Universal Epic Universe's Helios Grand Hotel, which is technically located inside Epic Universe and offers backdoor access into that park. A Magic Kingdom resort hotel with that kind of access isn't just overdue, but would be a guaranteed home run due to its convenience, its views, marketing appeal, as well as Disney's bottom line and how they can monetize those perks, select rooms, and cater to VIPs. Essentially, it's a win-win. But Universal's Helios Hotel isn't the only reason why I think this resort is likely. Another is the fact that Magic Kingdom is going to be under construction. It already is. And wouldn't you know it, on the side of the park where a backdoor Magic Kingdom resort has been rumored for several years. If they're going to do this, there has never been a better time than now. Furthermore, those of you who noted that Villains Land's Art Nouveau inspiration is similar to that of Tokyo Disney Sea's Fantasy Springs, keep in mind that Fantasy Springs also has a hotel with that Art Nouveau aesthetic and backdoor access into the park, and particularly that land. Therefore, Disney may be looking to replicate that concept for Magic Kingdom. Rumored project number 2, changes to Epcot. All of you in the comments who've been talking about this, I have heard you and I agree with you. I do not think Disney is done with Epcot just yet, but that is not to say I think Disney has a lot on the table for this park at the moment. Typically, the 4 Disney parks follow a rotation schedule in terms of new additions and expansions, and the Epcot redo is barely 2 years old, meaning the spotlight and the cash is going to the other parks right now. Still, the Epcot overhaul did not go well. I do not believe it drew in guests like it was originally intended, and Disney has continued to elevate certain corners of that park ever since, from Geo 82 to Test Track 3.0. So there is a chance Disney will continue that trend if they can. Furthermore, earlier this year, there was a report that something was finally in the works for Journey into Imagination with Figment. Of course, I think we all took that with a grain of salt since we have heard this before and too many times to count, and still nothing has happened. But I am tending to believe this may be accurate this time around. And that is because the increased monetization of Figment merch and popcorn buckets and without investment into the ride can only get a pass for so long. And every year it becomes a bigger and more embarrassing conversation for Disney. In fact, the more Disney continues to lean into marketing Figment, the bigger that conversation gets, and it's just not going away. But the other reason why I think there is a greater chance that Figment may finally getting some help this time around is the reality that the opposite side of Epcot, which is home to Guardians of the Galaxy and Test Track, it's pulling in guests, while Figment's side is not. The only draws here are Soarin', which has not been considered a new attraction for years, and Moana Journey of Water, which is a walkthrough, not a ride. So this corner of Epcot is due for some serious help, and it needs to show revenue to justify itself and needs to do its part in dispersing guests throughout the park. The question is just when will Disney finally give the green light for this, and what direction will they decide on when it comes to Figment? Now, there are other possibilities and project contenders for Epcot, but since my money is on Figment first, I may save those for an additional video. If that is something you'd be interested in, please do let me know in the comments. But let's move on to rumored project number 3, and that is changes to Magic Kingdom's Liberty Square. Late last year and earlier this year, there were rumblings about changes coming to Liberty Square, possibly involving the Muppets and/or changes to the Hall of Presidents. Clearly, that has not happened, or at least not yet, but since these reports came from some pretty respectable sources, coupled with the fact that Piston Peak will no doubt have some impact on Liberty Square, makes me believe that this is true, that more changes are coming to this land. And while I'm not expecting them to be huge at this point, given how Disney has changed the timeline and emphasis of Frontierland over the past 12 months, I think Liberty Square may be on the docket for its own redo, and even more so after 2030. Rumored project number 4, expanded transportation. Another expectation we've heard whispers about but has yet to be officially confirmed by Disney is an expansion of the resort's transportation system. Ahead of Destination D23, I reported what the Disney Dish podcast had alluded to about Disney considering a new resort or resort complex connected to the expansion of the Skyliner. And I do think this has to be on the table given how successful the Skyliner has proven to be, and the fact that Disney relies on constant and ongoing DVC expansions. But as for that new resort complex right now, I'm slightly less confident about it, even though I'm not going to rule it out. I just think it's going to hinge on how serious Disney is about that new Magic Kingdom resort, and if that corner of the property is going to take precedence. But in addition to the Skyliner, I do want to mention that, very much like Figment, the monorail has been neglected for far too long. It is way overdue for some serious maintenance and a refresh. And with Piston Peak and Villains Land on the way, the last thing Disney wants is monorail issues. So watch this space for some tweaks to that highway in the sky, and maybe before an expansion of the Skyliner. Rumored project number 5, the increased presence of 3 popular IPs. Stitch is one of the most profitable Disney characters Disney has. He is right up there with Mickey Mouse right now, and after the live-action Lilo and Stitch movie made $1 billion at the box office, and with the sequel already on the way, it's a double threat, meaning Lilo and Stitch is prime for an increased park presence. If I was calling the shots, which clearly I'm not, I would have reworked that Moana flume ride concept from 2022's D23 into a Lilo and Stitch attraction like yesterday. Whether Disney World is willing to go that big, I'm a little doubtful, but I do think it is likely we'll see Lilo and Stitch integrated more into Walt Disney World, and maybe even in a bigger way at either Disneyland or the international parks in the coming years. But another IP that is not rumored but actually confirmed for Walt Disney World, even though it still hasn't happened yet, is Bluey. Certain Disney cruises have introduced Bluey and Bingo as walk-around characters, but despite a D23 2024 announcement that Bluey is going to be at Disney World this year, we've had nothing yet. However, with the Bluey movie coming to theaters in 2027, it would be shocking if Disney didn't capitalize on this show in the parks in some way. The simplest and most obvious would be integrating Bluey into the Disney Junior show, which might be happening, but I would be shocked if Disney doesn't have something even bigger in store. But the final IP that is rumored for Walt Disney World is the Muppets, and more than just the upcoming Rock and Roller Coaster overlay. Ever since Disney announced the closure of Muppet Vision and assured fans that the 3D film would be preserved, the big question has been just where Disney will move that classic show. The leading contender is the Sunset Showcase Theater next to Rock and Roller Coaster, which is currently home to Villains Unfairly Ever After. In this way, Disney could essentially create a new Muppets courtyard. The other possibility is the Muppets could move to Journey into Imagination and the Magic Eye Theater. But it's important to acknowledge the fact that Disney has never said they would reopen the show, and I have had my doubts about having the attraction film anywhere but a Muppet theater, and so soon after its closure. There have been reports, however, that Disney might be considering a different show altogether, so there's a lot out there regarding the Muppets. Regardless, though, I do believe there is a nugget of truth that more Muppets may be on the way. But at the moment, I would think that Disney is holding off. They're hitting pause to see if the Muppet Show reboot on Disney Plus works and how Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets goes over with guests in order to gauge what they do and the extent. It is also worth noting, though, that Disney has recently recognized that A Muppet Christmas Carol is incredibly popular and a Muppet classic they never knew they had. So just throwing this out there, maybe what they're considering is something seasonal for Kermit and the gang before thinking about another attraction or bringing an attraction back. Rumored project number 6, another new attraction for Animal Kingdom. Even though Animal Kingdom is gaining Tropical Americas and 3 new attractions based on Encanto, Indiana Jones, and Disney Animal Sidekicks, there are already fan rumors that Disneyland Paris's Lion King Land and that attraction are also headed for Animal Kingdom. Now, I don't believe that's 100% true, and mainly due to Tropical Americas, but do I think Lion King is at least being considered as an option for Animal Kingdom? Yes, I do. Obviously, it is a perfect fit for this park. The Lion King is a timeless, beloved property, and even though Tropical Americas is the focus right now, it's replacing a pre-existing land which was already home to attractions. A Lion King ride and themed area would further increase capacity and breathe some new life into the Africa area of the park, and maybe even replace Conservation Station, especially since that animation class will soon be offered at Hollywood Studios' Magic of Disney Animation. But whether the Conservation Station property is conducive for this kind of project, given that animals are kept nearby, is the big question I have. But again, even though I think this is likely in the works for Animal Kingdom, I don't think it's on the immediate docket, but several years down the road, and possibly as a long-range plan to finally make Animal Kingdom a full-day park. Rumored project number 7, repurposing the Liberty Belle Riverboat. Another one of the biggest questions turned rumors this year amongst Disney World fans is what's going to happen to the Liberty Belle Riverboat. Since the closure of the Rivers of America, Disney has moved the boat into the canal next to Magic Kingdom, which is where the electrical water pageant floats are kept. And this is the same canal that guests actually pass over on the walk between the Grand Floridian and the park. When the boat was moved into this space, there were concerns about it being dismantled, but so far, or at least at the time I'm recording, that hasn't happened yet. And since the boat can technically be transported across Bay Lake and Seven Seas Lagoon, there is speculation that Disney may actually have plans for it elsewhere. I'm actually going to propose a new theory here, and it has to do with Lakeshore Lodge. That resort was originally supposed to offer a lakeside Tiana's restaurant inspired by The Princess and the Frog. And if the boat can't be in Magic Kingdom next to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, why not make a place for it near this new resort? Now, to be clear, this is not officially rumored. This is just my speculation. But the fact that the boat is still in one piece lends credence to the rumor that the riverboat may have a new purpose in the future, so keeping my hopes high for its survival. But there you have it. Those are 7 rumored Disney World projects that are still likely to happen in the months and years to come, and who have the odds in their favor, so to speak. But here is my question. Of the 7, which do you think is the most likely, and which on the list would you most like to see? I think it's a hard call. For me, I think Bluey is a done deal, and another Magic Kingdom resort seems like an obvious and strategic move for Disney. But the one I'd personally like to see most is that Lion King expansion for Animal Kingdom and in the Africa area of the park. But let me know what you think in the comments. I always enjoy reading your thoughts, and if I missed any rumors or popular theories, please share them here as well. And if you enjoyed today's video, as well as a different take on Disney Park news, analysis, and predictions, I would so appreciate if you would hit that like button and subscribe. Not only is it free, but it makes such a difference, and I truly mean it when I say that it makes my day. But regardless, thank you for taking the time to watch and comment, and I hope you all have a magical day.